In this video, I'm gonna tell you guys how to read candlestick charts. This is a channel where we talk about financial world in a fun, informative way so you guys can understand what's going on and get ahead of the game and make some money. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, quick lesson on candles. What does a candle tell you? So I hope you like the presentation. I feel like I'm at the university back again. Alright, so imagine you guys are playing a football game or a game of basketball, right? Of course, if you're watching one on the TV, you know your favorite players. If it's basketball, it's LeBron. If it's football, it's Ronaldo. So a candlestick will tell you the beginning of the match and of course the highlights of the match. Basically, if it's a basketball game, if LeBron, how many scores did LeBron did and how many 3-pointers did Curry make, so those highlights, and of course what happened at the end. So a candlestick chart basically will tell you those kind of things. So we are looking at two candles. All right, so this is very basic. I'm not gonna go into too depth in this video. Of course, this is to get you guys a working thesis so you can actually do the research by yourself, because remember self-learning is the best teacher. All right, so we're looking at two candles, green candle and a red candle. You have to think all the time. Most people actually made the mistake of thinking that this wick over here, these are called wicks, that's the opening, but it's not. It's this left side and we close on the right side. All right, so the price actually goes like this. I'll show you the next slide. So this is how the price actually happens in a green or a red candle. All right, so given a period of time, it could be daily, weekly or monthly or 1 hour 45 minutes, it doesn't matter. Whatever the time period you choose, one candle will represent one time period. If it's a daily chart, one candle will represent what happened in that day. So you have the open, like I told you, open is left. All right, and then you have the lowest point in that day and then the highest point in that day, and of course this is the this is called the spread, and of course the exit point. All right, so in a day what happened, you can see that in the candle. So this right here is called the spread, this little bit over here, and of course if it's red candle, this is also called the spread. It's pretty much the same. So what a spread does is it gives you an idea of the sentiment. If it's a big candle like this, hold on, that's not the right one, a big candle like this with a large spread, meaning that the sentiment is bullish. All right, so it doesn't matter whether it's a big red candle or a green candle. If it's a big red candle, the sentiment is bullish, and if it's a big red candle, the sentiment is bearish, meaning the more pressure was onto the buying side or the selling side, whatever it is, meaning that there was so much activity. You know, the spread is huge, meaning the sentiment is, whatever it is, was large. All right, so, and if the spread is thinner, right, that means the sentiment, it could be bullish or bearish depending on the color of the candle. The sentiment was low. Even though we had a green candle like this, there was not so much buying pressure this day. All right, same goes with the red candle. All right, you have the wick. So wick basically tells you the highlights of the match. Basically how much time and effort that was spent in the market, you know. So in this case, I'll show you another one. So this type of candle actually means like you have a longer wick, small body, meaning that the selling pressure was lower comparatively to the buying pressure, meaning we started actually over here and we managed to close up. All right, and of course you'd have the inverse. If it's a green candle, you'll have this it's called the inverted. So that's it for the theory part, guys. So all you have to remember is when you're looking at the candlestick chart, right, you start from the left, you finish at the right. All right, and the spread, the middle part, the body or the whatever they in the middle called the spread, it gives us an idea of how big was the sentiment, right? And the wick, if the wick is longer, that means there was more pressure. It could be buying or selling pressure depending on the candle. Alright, so that's what basically a candle tells. It gives us clear-cut evidence of the movement of the price in a set period of time. So by looking at a candle, we get an idea of the price movement. What was the sentiment, right? And how did we do in that day, right? And then you can actually use this to improve your strategy, right? And of course, this is, like I told you, basic stuff. There are more patterns, and of course this is basic stuff. All right, so how a candle works. So let's jump into a chart and see our new test and test our new knowledge. All right, lovely people, I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart, right? You can do it with any chart however you want. Now that's a love. Now, okay, look, so let's look at a candle, right? So I'm on the daily chart. Like I told you, one candle is equivalent to a day. If you go to monthly, one candle would be a month. And of course you can change it over here. I actually don't use these other types. I only use bar charts. I'll teach you guys how to do bar charts as well. They're very simple, just like candles. Shows pretty much the same amount of information. So like I told you, so this candle over here, right? So we started over here. Hold on, let me get my spotlight tool. Yep. Okay, so we started over here, right? We went up a bit. So we started at 56,000, we went to 58,000, and then boom, we came down to 48,000, but bulls came in and we finished at 49,000. So that's how the price fluctuated in that day, right? So you have your opening, which is the left side. I always told you, remember, always the opening is the left side, right? And it went up. So the wick shows you the direction that it went down and up. In this case, the fluctuation, and it closed over here. So let's look at this bad boy, right? So we opened over here, went down to 32,000, went back up again to 37,522, and we finished at 37,407. And the sentiment was entirely bullish because we have the big green candle. All right, so how about this candle? It's very recent, 9th of July candle. As you can see, you have the tiny spread. There was not so much buying. It was definitely a bullish candle, meaning there was buying action, but not comparatively bigger like these ones, of course. So we opened up over here, and of course we went down over here and we closed up over here, right? So that's what basically that candle tells us. So, and if the candle size is smaller, that means basically there was not enough action, which is buying or selling. It was a quiet day. But if you have long candles like red or green, that means there was so many buying or selling pressure was happening that day. And of course you will see the volume with regards to the candle size as well. Now that you know what a candle represents, what can you do next? Right, so of course that's it for another video I'll talk about. So you have types of candle. You have inverted hammer, hanging man, doji, gravestone doji, etc. So many candles that gives you different ideas or indicators as to what will the market do. It is important that you know these things before you actually invest or trade, because this will, by knowing this information, will give you an edge over the other people, right? So of course I have a lot to talk about. Like I told you, this is just the basic 101 stuff, like what a candle represents. I hope you learned something. I'll see you guys in another video, and until then, happy trading.